What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The settings aren't set action. In the left-hand corner of the map, we've got Keto playing as Fushi, and his opponent today in the red color playing as Tezcatlipoca is Mirari, also known as Avely. I tried to catch one of these guys, or these guys' games yesterday on stream. Unfortunately, went out of sync. But luckily, they played another banger. If there's one thing that I know about Keto Severo Jones Bones Malone, he does love to produce bangers when he plays the Age of Mythology game. And Avely is insanely good in his own right, but also has a tendency to enjoy the finer things in life, like playing bangers in Age Mythology. So we got two players. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We got two players here who are going to be going after it. Tezcatlipoca in this matchup with the Obsidian Mirror, it's kind of a tough one because you actually, this is 100% right from Avely. The first thing you really want to do is run directly across the map and click Obsidian Mirror on your opponent's base so you can get your Peach Blossom Spring down. It's probably one of the worst sort of situations for Obsidian Mirror in the game. Like, of course, you've also got Gaia Forest. It's not the best. It's a little bit unfortunate. And of course, he has to drop the Peach Blossom Spring like in his main base. But where do you want to drop it? You probably want to put it somewhere close to your Calpulis so that you can eat it and drop it into whatever Calpuli whatever Calpuli is good. So actually deleting this Sombartli Tower, dropping it here so that you can have it on both of these does make some sense. But he puts it over onto this side. Not exactly sure what the purpose there was. But yeah, the thing is, like, you've got a couple of god powers where you want to drop it straight away. So, for example, Gaia Forest, Peach Blossom Spring. I think that's it. Maybe Prosperous Seeds as well, depending on like if you want to go for that early farm. But the thing here is that it took it with Avely going straight to his opponent's base. The difference in resources here is nearly 300. It's not a crazy amount, and I guess if you do drop it off into the Calpuli with the livestock pen attached, you might be able to catch up on that differential. Like 15% extra here. You're looking at a decent amount of bonus resources. So maybe you catch up. So maybe that's where the thought process is and it makes sense. But nonetheless, the game is off to the races. Let's check out the relics here and see what we're going to see. We've got the Canopic Jar of Imseti, as Keto also finds the Atlatl of Ehekatl, making ranged soldiers way better, and Feather of Bafang. There is one other relic on the map, but I don't know where it is. There it is. And Keto's grabbed it, and it is the Blue Crystal Shard. So I wanted to touch on this relic and kind of what this relic actually means. Because I think some people maybe don't understand when you see a relic or a technology. I guess relics are technically technologies. You see a technology that reduces the attack rate of a unit. What that means is it's very, very different from a technology that boosts stats by 5%, right? So for example, or 10%. So for example, if you get medium range soldiers and your ranged unit has got let's just say it's got 3 DPS, that's going to go up to 3.3, right? But if I take away 10% attack speed, so it's at 1 and goes down to 0.9, that's not working off of the base anymore. That's actually working off of the total. So once you get to iron upgrades and champion, all of a sudden the boost of DPS coming from that relic or that technology ends up being a lot more. So in other words, this relic here, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't done the math on it, but just based on my initial thoughts, this relic is very, 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 very good for your archers, for your buildings, once you get your technologies in. But it's probably less good towards the start of the game. Anyways, the answer comes through, looking for a little bit of raids here early on, as the bad boy just going to be trying to figure out what's going on. And we do have over on this side the Shinekwe from Avely. He went through Huehue Kyodel, and we've also got Chi Yao from Kido. And just a little bit of early game harassment at the start here, as Kito's going to be wanting to get himself his Nijar out. In fact, I think he has it out already. And it's just checking out what's going on in this main base. It's really quite hard to raid the Aztecs early on because of this Kalpuli, this Lumber Outpost edition. And you can actually see here, and I like this from Avely, he's actually going to eat his herdables at the start. And he's looking to get a pretty quick heroic age. He steals another Peach Blossom Spring. He's never going to use that. But he's going to try and get himself a fast heroic here while not leaving his main base. And with the Peach Blossom Spring on the back, he's going to have a very, very large amount of resources to play with this. Meanwhile, on the backside here for Keto, I think he's also going to be going for a fast heroic. Is Keto doing it? Oh, he is doing it. This is actually exciting.
Sure though.
He hasn't built a single Coafu. So this is something that I was fiddling with the other day, and I found that, oh, now he's building Coafu. Like, I'm sad. I found that against Norse, a matchup that I think kind of wavers between being, it depends on which top player you ask, it wavers between being quite difficult for Norse, and to being like actually favorable for Norse and things like that. But this is an idea where you go straight for your upgrades for the arts and you get a couple of those out, and you just sort of charge around the map, and you're just looking for raids. And then on top of that, they're very, very, very good at killing off raiding cavalry. Of course, we're not playing against Norse here. It's a different situation, but the Yachts they're very, very, very good against the Norse players at the moment, and it's definitely a viable strategy to forego the Coafu in favor of simply just building Myth Unit. But I thought maybe there was going to be a thing here where you go Heroic Age through Nubar and you make Taltier here. But, oh, he is going Nubar. That's exciting. Is the Coafu going to come through? The idea of going Taltier versus the Tezcatlipoca Jaguar Rider spam, which is what we're going to be seeing here. This is the I think this is kind of what you would consider to be the meta play for Tezcatlipoca. That being said, meta sort of means most effective tactics available, and I'm gonna be honest here, guys. Oh, did he start eating this accidentally? It's not good. I don't know if he did or not, but he actually is meaning to. I actually don't think that this is the best play for Tezcatlipoca anymore, especially not on an open map. I think that it's way better to go its Papalotl and make Obsidian Butterflies, especially with Tezcatlipoca. It also is very, very good with Blitzlopochli. Way better than trying to get yourself. The only real benefit of, literally the only benefit of going for this god, Coil Xiaoqui, is the fact that you get a couple of free Titsamiddles, which are mid. They're like fine, they're good, but they're like a mid Myth unit. They're fine. Don't get me wrong. Like, you want to build them, they're good, but they're mid. They're good, but they're mid. Mid just means like not a priority unit, right? Like, it's fine. You can build it. It's good. Said the same thing like 5 times in a row. But you want to go for this god so that you can get all the really cheap upgrades for your Jaguar Riders. And Jaguar Riders are fine. They're good. They're strong. They're a great strategy to go for. But in doing this, you miss out on stronger. Eagle Warriors. You miss out on butterflies. You miss out on a whole bunch of beautiful stuff from that god. You miss out on the favor technology as well. Like, you get the sacrifice one when you sacrifice villagers into the temple, and it's a bit better, but that's kind of mid. It's actually not even mid, it's just bad. Like, I don't think this technology is like super useful. So basically what I'm trying to say is everything you get out of Coil Xiaoqui is the cheap upgrades on the Jaguar Riders. So once the timing is over from this cheap upgrade, your opponent's going to have a fine time. As we see on the backside here, is this actually going to be a fast Mythic from Keto behind all of this, as the houses are getting knocked down onto this backside. Funnily enough, you should probably knock down this house first, and that would shut down the other house's favored land. I haven't really seen anyone focus on trying to cut off the favored land aspect, but nonetheless, in comes the Mythic Age, in comes a couple of White Horse Cavalry, and I think the reason that we see the Tao Tie over here, I think the reason that Keto is doing this is namely because he wants to have Tiger Cav to deal with the Jaguar Riders. But yeah, this one Tao Tie, because these are so expensive, this one Tao Tie scares Avely so much from charging into this position. So we get a nice early game here of a little bit of wackiness from Keto into even more wackiness to some degree. He's almost out of gold in his main base. He will have to move out of his base to create a gold mine fairly shortly, but he does only have to spend 50 gold. Probably cancel these White Horse Cavalry, to be honest. You only have to spend 50 gold to build himself Tiger Cav. So he's got quite a few Tiger Cav he can actually get. He's just having a lot of food in his main base. So a couple of issues for him to sort of deal with here is Avely says, all right, let me pull back the White Horse Cav over here. Getting caught out, and without their upgrades, they're actually slower than the Jaguar Riders. These are the Hui. And we are back. Had a mod on, and my game went out of sync. Whoops. So let's continue along. So far, Keto, he is well and truly stuck in his base. He does have a Mythic Age. He's got about three Tiger Cav worth of gold in the bank. And he's got some issues. He is looking for the raids with these Yahtzees for the time being. What? Oh, he's going to kill the whole base? Hello there. That is incredibly interesting. Wow. That there, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call damage. I haven't seen anyone do this in literally forever, because everybody doesn't play, nobody plays Nubar. Everyone goes the other one. Insane. All right. Well, now in comes the fight onto this side as the Tao Tie. Is this guy using his ability? Oh, he is. He's going to be using that special ability straight away to get as much damage as he possibly can, but Lullaby comes through, and Avely is looking for all the damage he can get. But for the moment here, it looks like Lightning Weapons is going to be enough to keep Keto alive. Villager differential is basically equal after all is said and done, and of course, Avely is just going to rebuild his town center when he can. But this game has just gotten very, very, very interesting. I seriously just have not even considered the idea of a fast Mythic base kill. Wild. Nonetheless, in comes the Yang Jian, in comes some Tiger Cav. All of those heroes getting picked off there from Keto, and Avely strikes back. So both players have taken some significant damage. You look at the score diff. I don't think there's really much to read into it there on that score diff, as the Yahtzees are still looking for all that value. This one, it's 5.3 speed, so 5.5 speed is higher than 5.3. The Yahtzees will go down as the houses not back up just yet. Not all of them up just yet, but the town center is on the way. Of course, the faster you get this up, the less downtime, the less villager differential you fall behind, and all that other good stuff, as Keto will take this opportunity now to move over and grab himself his second gold mine. So I think this is probably the most creative answer to this fast heroic from Tezcatlipoca I've seen thus far. A Nubar fast heroic with the Great Flood on the opponent's base, takes it out, slows down the timing, and like I said, that's kind of all you have. That's kind of all you have with the nice garrison, as Yang Jian going to go down here. So that's all you have versus the timing, or with the timing here from Coil Zhaokui. All you've got is the cheaper upgrades on your units, right? Which means all you and the castle. Which means you got to do something with it. If your opponent catches up to you on the fact that they buy their upgrades full price and they catch up to you, sort of similar to the Japanese Bushido system, right? Sometimes that can feel that way. Once you catch up, then all of a sudden, what are you going to do? So for now, Avely has to probably find a little bit of damage here. He is behind 10 villages. He has to find a little bit of damage. And the good thing is that these Jaguar Riders are incredibly powerful at finding that damage. Whether hitting this position, hitting this position, hitting this position. We are all hitting these villages over here. We've also got Keto on farms as well, which is going to be slowing him down a little bit. Only 9 of them, but still, it's not ideal. On the flip side, you can actually see the dragon coming in. That's going to get taken out there pretty quickly. The Xinglong versus these 5.5 speed Aztec priests, not the best. As in comes the Jaguar Riders. And now, here you go. The damage from these Jaguar Riders, if you're not careful, is substantial. And you can see that Keto tried to get his walls up. He is looking for his own raids over onto this position while this is all going on. And he does see some more villages here. But this raid could have been avoided. If you get the walls set up here, and over here as well, and over here, like straight away, then these sort of raids can't happen. Because, well, basically what's happening is that the Jaguar Riders come around this side, they're invis, so you can't see them on the minimap until they're on your villages. But if you have the walls there, then they have to attack the walls, and it's all fine for you. Nonetheless, we actually see Shaker of the Heavens coming through, so the heroes are getting a little bit more power. One interesting thing here is that in raiding with the Nijar, who is at the same speed as the Tiger Cav, the Jaguar Riders actually don't want to chase here, but Hito's not doing it. I thought if he just runs, then the Jaguar Riders chase, and they take a lot of damage from that fire trail. But Keto's throwing away units here quite a lot. He's got a lot of gold in the bank. Definitely in need of military camps coming down. Definitely in need of a lot more farmage and a lot more food income so that he can get himself those Tiger Cavalry out. On the flip side here, Avely probably needs to think either a second town center or maybe he can go into Mythic Age here if he could try and get there. Don't know if he's quite got the resources anywhere. I mean, there's a couple of turkeys here, but you want to save those for the sacrifice in the Great Temple. But anyways, in onto this position comes the Tiger Cav again, and there is crenellations in, so they're going to take a little bit of damage here, and they spot 3 villages being naughty on this hunt, take them out. Of course, we could expect that to happen. It's a bit of a risk from Keto here. Not a bit of a risk, it's a big risk. Realistically, the only thing Keto can do until he catches up on the military diff here is just build farms. And to be honest, he could take all the villagers off of gold tier, put them onto wood, throw all the farms down in his main base, completely wall up, get himself up to a decent amount of Tiger Cav, and probably be in a pretty good position. But that is obviously not the most simple of things to do, and he's not going for it. Instead, he's now actually going to go into the halberdiers. On the flip side, we actually see this big technology coming through for Avely Chinampas, as he also doesn't want to send his villagers too far out and risk their lives. So he's going to be looking to put the farms around this position. Now, one really cool thing you can do with, as we do see a little bit of a fight over here, one really cool thing you can do with the Aztecs, with that livestock pen, is you just fill that livestock pen up and around. So I'm pretty sure a farm that is like this far away, if it's dropping off into the livestock pen, is better than being next to the town center. And it also contributes towards getting some extra turkeys. Though I could be wrong on this, but I think this is kind of close, no? I can't tell. There's no villagers on front anymore, though. 0.82 versus 0. I want to say it's 0.9. So it's kind of close. Hunting and herdables are still better than the farms. But anyways, point stands that just surrounding your livestock pen for massive amounts of food is super nice. There's now over 100 favor in the bank, and like I was saying, like the sits and middles, you don't really want to build them. They're fine. You could build them, but and he is going to. There you go. But I actually think it might be better for him to save that favor for the Mythic Age, because if he goes up, I can't remember what the god's called, but if he goes up for the Soul Guide, I think it's Gelotl. But if he goes up to the Mythic Age and starts building those Soul Guides, then all of a sudden he's got himself a really, really strong support myth unit for his really, really strong Jaguar Riders. And he actually does cancel the units there as well. Oh, don't tell me he's cancelled that to drop the Starfall God Power. I'm going to be so upset. I'm going to be so upset. The more I watch this game, and the more I see players do things like recasting God Powers, the more I get upset about it, because the whole thing is that the players do this at their detriment, right? Like, as we see the units coming, I'm gonna drop it unless it happens. I'm gonna go on my rant if it happens. If he drops an extra Starfall, I'm gonna go on my rant. If he doesn't, I'm not gonna go on my rant. Okay. I'm expecting him to save this favor for Soul Guides. All right, that's where we're at. Over onto this side, the Halberdiers have been completely spotted, but there are already a whole bunch of Sean ones out. So not a simple fight to take for either player, but a fight that can be taken from both players with good control. Though I think potentially Keto here might want to build Fire Archer or some Chuko Nu or something like that, so that he can actually take out those Sean ones a little bit easier. But now it's 2 town centers for Avely, and the farmage is still slowly coming up, which kind of begs the question, and I don't know what the difference would have been here. Wait, does he have it? He doesn't. Never mind. I was gonna say if he goes through Zhurong here, maybe with Shenong or something, or with Nuwa inside of this strategy. If you go through Zhurong rather than through Gong Gong, yes, you miss out on the last stand technology, but he hasn't grabbed that anyways. But you get that I can't remember what the tech's called. Burning something / something. Anyways, the farm tech from Zhurong. Seems like it's like that would be a really nice idea, because you also can drop the... Actually, it has to be with Shenong, doesn't it? You can drop the base deletion combo of Drought plus Blazing Prairie. And then you can get your farms up, and then you can get into your Tiger Cab. The only issue with it, I guess, is that your Tiger Cab don't have the last stand tech, and they also don't have the Gong Gong... the Gong Gong? Not Gong Gong. War Mang tech, the one that boosts up cavalry speed and hack armor. Anyways, nonetheless, Keto seeing an opportunity to take a fight here. Lullaby gets... Okay, I gotta go on my rant here. Surely we go on the rant here, right? In comes the new fire ceremony. Lightning weapons comes down. Lullaby 125 favor down the drain. Now all of the Jaguar Riders die here, but so too do all of the rest of these units of Keto. But now the fact of the matter is there's only Sean ones, and they're a little bit less of a threat than anything else. And the Nejar to run away. Oop, don't chase the Nejar. How much damage do they actually take? Yeah, that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Anyways, okay, so now he's at 355 favor. I guess the question is, would you have been able to catch him out without the Lullaby? I think he probably would have. Now he's got 350 favor. I don't know why he did that sacrifice then. Unless he wants to drop the Starfall again, which I'm going to be super upset about. I've been playing some Aztecs myself recently, and I've been actively avoiding using this new fire ceremony for a secondary god power cast. And I got to tell you, it is way better to build the myth units, whether it be Obsidian Butterfly, or whether it be the Rabbits, or the Makiscoatl, or the Shinekwe, or the Tsitsimiddles, or if you save it for the Mythic Age and you start building yourself Alzotl, or the Soul Guides. or even the owls as well. I don't think I'm crazy. I might be crazy, but I think there is not a civ that is going to be happier playing against the myth units than the god power spam. I think yeah. Anyways, I'm going to leave it. But the other thing that I want to just bring up quietly as another god power gets dropped down, and so this one, Keto says, okay, we'll just sit here and take it. And I think he actually will win this fight as well, which goes to show. Anyways, what's my point? I don't have a point anymore. I've already said it all. Nice little fight here from Keto. He sits inside of it instead of running, so he got a lot of good damage off. And the Najjar going to be pulling back. Oh, that's my point. If you're going to sacrifice villagers for a god power or for a myth unit, you want to sacrifice it just before you click it. Just before you start building. So, for example, if I new fire ceremony for myth units, I want to make sure I probably have 2 or 3 temples in the bank, and I have the resources in the bank already. Otherwise, it's not really worth it to sacrifice the villagers now. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. As in comes the halberdiers, they're going to be decimating these heavy jaguar riders, and the game continues along with Keto looking for raids and all that other good stuff. He still hasn't dropped on the town center. Oh, he has. No, he hasn't. He's still on one town center. He hasn't dropped it on the town center, but he is getting Vill picks, it seems. And look at these farms. Like, these villages here, unfortunately, are going to be dropping into the town center, but I think these villages on the side here going into the Kalpuli pen, it's going to be nice. I do kind of wish there was a way. It's very complicated, and of course, it's not really that important, but I wish there was a way so you could tell the villager. Oh, he does drop. She drops into the Kalpuli. Oh, I would have expected her to go this way like every single time. Anyways, there you go. I think that's one of those things that I would get frustrated with most of the time because, well, let's say I have an ox cart over here. I'd rather my villager go this way than that way. So there you go. Anyways, another lullaby. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the myth unit Aztec god, Tezcatlipoca. I couldn't be more upset, Avely. I could not be more upset with this nonsense. Anyways, Tiger Cav to tank against these Shorn ones. I kind of think he just needs to get the villager kills and run. It's probably not the best idea to sacrifice all your units underneath this great temple here. Especially with the Najjar, you're more than happy to run here. But nonetheless, not going to be happening. Turns to take the fight as the halberdiers trying to actually beat these Shorn ones. It's looking like he's kind of getting close. But in losing the Najjar and the Yang Jian, it is definitely time to get out of here. And we'll start to see some Tao Tie actually now. I love this inclusion from Keto. Get the bottomless stomach after that, those upgrades, and live the dream. Has he spread he has. He spread this all the way up to the top side. Nice little tits middle raid onto the top here. Look at how much damage this guy gets. This is the main kind of usage for the tits middle, which is effectively just raiding. And even then it didn't really do a whole lot. But nonetheless, the favor spread, or the favored land spread from Keto here in this game, considering he's only on one town center, has been impeccable. Has been very, very strong. So he's got a good amount of favor coming through at the moment at 26 favor per minute, considering he doesn't have any extra town centers, which are generally the main boost to your favor income. And we do see that the Tao Tiers have got themselves this rock solid tech. And in he comes, and he's going to start nomming on some Deuterinos. Unfortunately, the one massive unit here for Avely is the Titsamiddles in dealing with myth units. This is one of their main benefits, is actually that stun. If you got one myth unit in, and your opponent's got one or two tits and middles, it's not going to be super fun for your own myth units as the fight yet again happens. And I don't know, it just seems like these fights aren't going super well for either player. It seems like both players are just kind of charging at each other, and they're both losing the entirety of their armies, which is quite interesting, to be honest. As the Obsidian Shard going to be going down here as well. Oh, but a Butterfly coming in. But does get taken out very quickly there. Oh, and gets stolen. Alrighty. So, into the middle of the map. The next sort of stage of this game is always going to be a problem for everyone. Goldmine situation. Ably grabbing the Sentra to get an extra 6,000 gold. It's not a huge problem. Potentially here, Keto can drop a market and go into his own trade route. But he should probably think about getting this town center at some point. This is wild that we're at a 31-minute game. And we still don't have a second town center up for Keto. Does he not see the gold mine? He's going to send some halberdiers over there. And I have to imagine here that Keto is going to see that with his army and basically prevent these villagers from getting back home. And we do see a temple coming up. Oh, he wants to sack the villagers. That's an amazing. Okay, that's kind of smart. He's not going to get them all, but he will get a couple of them out of there. As say goodbye to the villagers. They will not be dying, and the favor comes back up. Okay, I'm a fan of that usage there. If your villagers are going to die, drop a temple. That's so smart. I love that. Now, at the very least, build some myth units now, right? Anyways, there's still the gold mines in the center. This is really quite big for Keto, because if he gets this gold mine, then it's actually going to be... is it advantage, Keto, in terms of gold? Or is it equal? Or is it... I think it's... Someone has to have an advantage, right? Because this is This is extra, right? This is 3,000 gold, 3,000 gold. Keto got plus 6,000. Ailey got minus 6,000. And then Ailey got plus 6,000. So if Keto comes over here and gets this gold mine, then he'll have an extra 5,200 gold on top of... Right? That's how that works. A little bit... Oh, but you also lost 3,000, right? Okay. Math is not my strong suit. I'm going to get there. There is a slight advantage for Keto if he can secure this gold mine. Probably like 2,000 gold, which isn't that big of a deal. So both players are going to need a market set up, and we do see that started. Up over onto this side, the mechanical ox caravan to come in. You want to probably get both of these upgrades, coinage and the Silk Road. You can actually see that the mechanical ox caravan will be on top of favored land for the most part here anyways. So kind of important as a little bit of a lull in the action. As well, what do you do in these situations? One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to take a crazy fight and lose, because if you do, you lose the game. However, as the ballet is coming up over onto this side, the Jaguar Riders, they are in hot pursuit. No, they're not. I thought they were, but they're not. He actually does come over here and hits this. It's kind of brutal for Keto. I think Keto probably should have kept building himself those Tautiers. As over onto this side, the Jaguar Riders looking for some villas to pick. There is one over here. The 3-hit that villager. Jeez. And that's with survival equipment. Of course, it's like fully upgraded, right? But is it fully upgraded? Not quite. Missing the Mythic Age upgrades as the Jaguar Riders do find the gold mine. And a nice movement from Keto as well to say, let's go after some of these villages. And they do have that new bar tech. So they are doing a little bit of extra damage as the Tits Middle gets stolen away. Over onto this side, trying to defend on this, and another Starfall comes down. As a little part of me, a little part of inside me does die on this game. A little part of me. So he trades 200 favor, or wait, is it 220 favor? Or 36. 36 favor. And 400 gold. 440 gold. I mean, I love these plays. They're both amazing. But Avely, this is... I'm going to put a stop to this. I'm going to. Somehow, I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna speak it into existence. I know the reason that players do this. And it's like, okay, so for example, if you're playing as Zeus, right? And you have restoration. We talked about this, right? In one of the previous casts. The time to recast restoration, the only time it's valid, in my opinion, is when you've got yourself a full population army with myth units in it. And a substantial amount of myth units in it as well, mind you. And then you have the extra favor in the bank. You say, okay, well, we're taking a fight. We may as well drop restoration here to help us with the fight because I can't get any more myth units out anyways, right? In this situation, if Avely was, let's just say, 10 myth units plus in his army, and he still had 200 favor, I might say it's okay to use Starfall, but to be honest, Starfall is just not that good of a god power. It is not worth 200 favor. And I'm also guilty of this, right? Trying to figure out which god powers are worth recasting. There isn't one in the heroic age for the Aztecs. Actually, Earth Monster. Earth Monster is probably the one. If you're gonna drop a god power in the heroic age as the Aztecs, let it be Earth Monster, right? The god powers you probably want to recast are in the classical age. Actually, it's Blood Pact, Tailwind, and Lullaby. And Lullaby very specifically for killing off really fast, obnoxious myth units, such as Centaur. Anyways, neither here nor there. Let's take a quickly look. It is going to be Gelotl now coming through for Avely. I guess the other thing I should bring up is that the Aztecs do kind of have a finite amount of favor. It's a lot. It's absolutely a lot of favor, but they have a finite amount because you can no longer, well, you can't really sacrifice the villagers for a crazy amount of favor past a certain point. It's only +5, and then the Tenali falls off as well. So then you're left with the trickle for the late game, which isn't nothing. Like, I mean, you compare 31 favor in at the moment to +23 favor. It's not bad. But anyways, we see Evening Star coming through, and this here is an amazing usage of favor. 25 favor for 1 soul guide at every great temple. That's 5 soul guides. Now, he obviously also needs to get himself this technology as well, Torch of Misfortune, which is very, very cheap. Wow. That is some wildly cheap stuff there. But anyways, now Avely, 3 town centers. Keto actually... Am I missing something? No, this is a 4th town center. Okay. Avely's on 4 town centers, or about to be. And he's now got himself a grand total of 6 soul guides. And he's queuing up 3. So this is the unit you want to be building if you can. But the problem for Avely, as he is starting his trade route, is he doesn't have any trade caravans. He's at full population, but he has 0 trade caravans. And the good thing is that he's got himself this corrupted ground tech, which might seem like it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not that good, right? Because your opponent can just run. But so long as Avely doesn't drop it straight away and he waits for the fight to actually start, you want to wait for it to be, you want to wait for your opponent to be really out of position, right? When you take the fight. Look at the difference in military. Okay, now, never mind. Apparently you just want to drop it in here and then you just go, and then all the units turn into these things that I cannot pronounce. Falcon X Quimili. Jeepers creepers. That's some damage. Do these guys die? Do they lose HP? They do slowly lose HP. Is it going to die? Well, if you get some of the dudes in, they might. Anyways. Huge damage from Avely on that one, as he does decide to charge in here, but he doesn't have any heroes. So these Qinglongs are going to be incredibly effective here, but there's just no military left for Keto after that gigantic push. I mean, you saw the difference in military. It was absolutely insane. But like I said, the issue right now, the main issue right now for Avely is he just has nothing that shoots up. And these Qinglongs can sit here and just get infinite value on the defense. That being said, there's a huge amount of value that is coming on the flip side, and we do see a bunch of obsidian shards here as well that are going to be getting myth units in as one of the owls comes through, the Tsunkulachu, and we've also got an Ahuazotl on the way after all of this is said and done. Now, the big question here actually for Avely is, do you make Soul Masters from the temple, or do you make more Great Temples? Because the Great Temple is only 8 favor. So it's more expensive to do it. These are 300 wood, 50 gold. So it's going to be 250 plus 250 gold, but minus the favor. So spamming out those Great Temples does make sense to get yourself all the soul masters you want. Anyways, over onto this side, in comes these guys as they're going to drop that special down, and the trade route is well and truly on the way. Only 49 gold at the moment. There is the corner sort of secured here from Avely as well. So if he puts the walls down and makes his trade route go back over onto this side, it might be a little bit more, but he has to get right into this corner, which is a little bit risky. Meanwhile, over onto this side here, the trade route for Keto under attack as his walls were broken down. But it looks like Keto is back up to full population, getting his farms back down, and he's going to be looking for somewhat of a push here with these axe carts as the Taunton Smashers, they are coming through to smash at the moment, splitting up. These are a lot of population for those Taunton Smashers. But the real big problem for Keto at the moment is the fact that his trade route is in pain. He does have one market up on this side, but obviously not the best as he's going to come over onto this side with some more military camps, trying to set up onto the corner there again. Axe cart gets taken out onto this side. Both players very much struggling for gold in this game as the Town Center goes down. The Terracotta Riders gets brought out, but here are the Qinglong. Now, like I said earlier, the Qinglong, they're very, very strong in certain situations. But against the 5.5 speed Warrior Priest, I don't know. I'm not sold on them. Yeah, I don't think they're very strong. And onto the backside comes another Lullaby. Ugh. I couldn't be more unhappy about that. But anyways, we will see an attempt to defend everything. Can Lullaby hit flying units? I think it can. If you Lullaby the Qinglong and take them out, that makes sense. Okay, I'll allow that. That makes sense. Lullaby on the Qinglong, Lullaby on myth units, and then you try and take them out. Okay, fine. One at a time, right? That makes sense. But is that another lightning weapons as well? What do you guys reckon about recastable? Wait, how much does he get for that? Killing off. How much is this worth? Nothing. Okay, never mind. Keto trying to break through here. He just has no gold. He's trying to get that trade route again. Does he put a mark? Or he has the trade route at the very least. What is he getting on it? 16 gold. Ooh, 13 gold. Yucky, yucky, yucky. But Keto has to either push through this way, or push through this way, right? If he wants to do anything. Going through this center with those 3 great temples seems like it's going to be very, very tough. As this obsidian shard is going to be getting another Ahuazotl in. I should bring up that this is the myth unit god, right? Like, it's not just that if you build 2 myth units. Sorry, if you build myth units, it's good for this god, right? It's if you build myth units, then you're getting extra economy because you get the obsidian shards when they die, which gets you more myth unit, which gets you more economy back. So if you build 4 myth units and 4 of them die, you get 2 more myth units, which then give you an extra myth unit. So that ends up being 7 myth units for the price of 4. And it keeps on going that way. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay. It's fine. Of course, your opponent can kill the obsidian shards, but in this situation, not really. As Avely is now back up to full population. That was kind of cute. Qinglong's a little cutie. All right. Up onto this side. the attempt to push through this position and break these great temples down. There is this one Soul Master, which, I mean, these guys aren't that strong. 9 hack damage per second, but they are free. It's kind of similar to a minion, I guess. Over onto this side of the Keto Town Center, getting taken down as a whole bunch of machine workshops coming through to try and break through all of this. But man, these Jaguar Riders, that's only Masons, I guess. If it's Architects, it might stay alive for a little bit longer. But I guess there's nothing different with the Jaguar Riders taking down a town center than, say, like a whole bunch of late game hippiests charging in there, fully upgraded. Into the middle here, these Pioneers, they do have themselves 1 divine damage, but they are tickling these 261 HP Jaguar Riders. Up onto this top side, the Qinglongs all getting picked off, and Avely is going to be able to defend himself yet again. And I guess the next move for Avely now is to just wander over here and take this town center. And another great temple is going to come down. And I gotta say, I do like that Avely is building the great temples over just getting himself or spamming out the favor onto the soul guy, just allowing him to use the favor for other things as well. But I can't accept it. I can't accept the amount of God Power damage going on. All right, but another great temple up. This town center is going to be going over to Avely, and I don't see the gold income. I don't see the options here for our main man, Keto, Severo Jones Bones, Malone in this game. How is he going to be able to get out of this position is somewhat unanswerable here after the Soul Guides or Soul Masters coming through. The villagers will come over and grab the town center. There's just so much stuff here. It's such an interesting map because the fact of the matter is having this middle town center is so much value because of the trade route, 52 gold. That being said, the corner trade route is better, right? This is going to be giving you closer to 100 gold. But yeah, if you've got that middle town center and you have the back position like this, it's such a safe trade route, unstoppable. So you do have to actually get through the middle here, or swing around the very outside and lock off that back corner somehow. But anyways, the town center now up for Avely as Keto going to put a desperation, lightning weapons down. There's just too much stuff here, I think, for Avely. He's just got so much in the way of population. 7.5k military. More units coming through. There's also the obsidian shards over on this side. I do kind of wish, to a degree, I'll probably regret saying this, but I kind of wish you could pick which myth unit spawns. And you can technically pick if you have full population, but it's not practical, right? I kind of wish you could pick from any unit. Like sometimes I'd rather get an armadillo, right, than say Tunkaluchu. But anyways, a big win here from Avely. What a strat from Keto. Not exactly sure where this fully went wrong for him outside of just maybe taking a couple too many chaotic fights and maybe not securing that center of the map fast enough or something like that. But I think this fast mythic idea from Keto is super, super strong. I think this is something to definitely try. If your opponent is going to go for a fast heroic, if you've ever sort of listened to my theory on sort of strategy decision making, if your opponent goes for a fast heroic, that allows you to say, okay, I'm going to go for a mythic age, or you can go for a tech on top of that. Of course, your opponent's going to attack you and you might die, but that option is available. If your opponent is spamming units in the classical age and you go for a fast heroic and you try and get to a mythic age, well, you're going to die, right? So you can't go too heavy on that tech. But in this situation, fast heroic versus fast mythic sort of makes sense. And Keto made a very, very fun game of it. If you guys enjoyed the game, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.